The title for this game is a little bit tricky because it's written several different ways depending on where you're looking. And I mean several different ways on the packaging. The big logo reads Kineko, which is short for Kinetic Connection, which is also on the package as part of the title. And Kinetic Connection is the title of the computer game that this is a port of, so you can see where this gets kind of confusing. The monitor puzzle was added only to the Famicom Disk System version, but at least that is always written before everything else on the Famicom packaging. And of course, Irem's completely forgotten that the game exists, so they don't have any opinion on what the official title is supposed to be. I went with Kineko because that's what Japanese players seem to call it. Something that you're going to notice while I'm playing Kineko is that the graphics are a bit jumbled. Something about this series of games reacts very badly with the AV Famicom. I thought it was a bad floppy, but switching to a disk image had the exact same results. The visual noise isn't bad enough that it becomes unplayable, so let's just consider this proof that I'm playing on real hardware. Kineko is Irem's entry to the Famicom Disk System, and they're not going to be especially prolific on it. They're also mainly going to focus on adaptations of computer software. And I do mean adaptations rather than ports, since Irem is going to put their own spin on these releases. The concept of Kineko is that you have a jigsaw puzzle, except it's an animated picture. There are 10 of these puzzles, and it saves your best time for completing the puzzle. Use the A button to pick up and put down pieces, or to interact with the flip buttons on the left-hand side. Many of the pieces could be flipped horizontally, vertically, or both. And part of the puzzle is figuring out what orientation everything has to be in. The B button will let you scroll left and right through the pieces. At the basic level, there are 16 pieces in the puzzle, and that's too many to be displayed on the screen at once. After you clear a 16-piece puzzle, then you can replay that same puzzle with 24 or 48 pieces. There are 10 puzzles in total. If you want to save your progress in a puzzle, you can hold down B and select, and you'll go to a save menu. As I mentioned, Kineko is a port of a computer game, Kinetic Connection. It debuted on the MSX earlier in 1986. But that version had a lot more puzzles, and let you have a lot greater control over the image. There's two important things to know about Kineko on the Famicom Disk System. First, it is absurdly difficult. The puzzles start off with nice big blocks that are easy to follow. You just have to pay attention to see which section the boat moves into next. But after you clear a few, the puzzles take a turn for the nasty. Multiple things that look very similar to each other moving in different directions at the same time. Swarms of tiny objects flickering across the screen. It's tricky at 16 pieces. It is hair-pullingly tough with 48. In fact, that difficulty gives Kineko a bit of a reputation among Japanese puzzle game enthusiasts. They like it quite a bit for that very reason. The other thing about Kineko is that these graphics are amazing. I know it's easy to sit there and go, I don't see what's so special about this. The Famicom's capabilities for handling sprites and backgrounds are extremely limited, so big full-screen animations are actually kind of difficult. Chopping up a big animation into 48 pieces and keeping them all organized and displaying correctly at once? That's amazing. In fact, I strongly suspect that the visual trickery that they're using in order to do this is why the graphics are breaking on my AV Famicom. Irem's going to release a second volume of Kineko, which will just have another 10 puzzles on it, and we'll see that pretty soon. My take on Kineko is, yeah, it's pretty interesting. I recognize it's a game with fairly limited appeal, but it is a lot harder than it looks, and yet also very relaxing to try to get those pieces to connect. Or at least it's relaxing until you put down two pieces, and one cycle of animation works between them and another doesn't. Yeah, they pretty quickly get crafty with these puzzles. Anyway, this is a pretty neat one. It's something that stands out in the system's library.